Welcome back to the Spartan Council, where strategy meets storytelling and where we break down the real side of esports and competitive gaming. I'm your host, Bella, and today's episode is all about the grind behind competitive Call of Duty, not just the clips, not just the scoreboards, not just the highlight plays, but the actual journey. The pressure of competing, the reality of LAN events, the sacrifices players make chasing the next level. Um, Now, before we jump in, a quick message from the council. Morgana is currently away on vacation, so today's episode is just going to be us and the our special guests today. Um, Honestly, this episode is going to fit perfectly because today we're diving deep into the lives of two CDL Challengers competitors who just returned from competing at Major 3 in Atlanta during DreamHack Atlanta through ESL and the FACEIT group. Um, Please welcome Void and Frosty to the council.
Yep.
Hello.
How are y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm having a good day. Got back off the plane, resting, recouping, and getting ready to get back on the grind.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you both for coming in. I know events like this are exhausting physically and mentally, so it means a lot that you're here taking the time to share your experience. Today, we're talking about what it's like being a CDL competitor, challengers player, the atmosphere of competing at LAN events, the pressure of major tournaments, and what the grind has really looked like over the past few seasons for you guys. So let's get into it. How the journey started. My first question for you guys would be what first got each of you, into competitive Call of Duty?
What first got me into competitive Call of Duty was, I was just, live streaming, eight and rank play all day, every day. I wasn't even aware of the challenger scene. I knew of the pro league, but I had no clue that there was a challenger scene below that. And one day I just got hit up by a subscriber asking me to play in a tournament, a Discord tournament that was being ran by a popular streamer called Elias. And I competed in the tournament, my first ever Call of Duty tournament. I mean, like I said, I've only played ranked play. I've only played some eights here and there. And I competed in the tournament, ended up getting second in front of a live streamer who was broadcasting to a few hundred people during the stream. And that was pretty much like the gateway for me to get into competitive COD because that opened the doors for me to a lot of things where I was getting messages from other players now. Hey, do you want to play in this league with me? Do you want to, play eights with me in Discord? And that's when I really started to develop a lot of, connections with some of the people who actually did compete in challengers.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. For me, I I've always been a really competitive person. Switching from like sports and from a very young age to really putting a lot of time into video games. After school and all that type of stuff. Playing with friend groups and whatnot. And eventually, like I found the CWL and I got into watching that and I was really interested in it and that got me into back in like Black Ops 3 playing a bunch of majors and like S&D games on game battles and stuff like that and that was really the beginning. I just had a couple of my friends and we played a lot of S&D. Not for money at the time, but just for fun. And I was watching the CWL at the time, picked a couple of players that I followed throughout the years and um, that's really where it came for me. That spark.
That's so awesome. Game battles, gosh, that was
Yep, game
back in
battles
the
before it went
day.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. I was
absolutely. I was
unfortunately,
really young. I was really young too. There wasn't a U18 scene, but when I played, so I was kind of just waiting till I was 18. But we had a lot of fun with just running S&D stuff. Really fun.
awesome, awesome. Was there a specific moment where you realized, okay, I want to seriously compete? You know.
I think for me, I think it was just watching those matches back in the day on the CWL. I followed a lot of Clayster back in that day. He was playing on FaZe with Zuma and Attach, and I just remember like I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in those matches playing those players because I was very competitive. I wanted to be that good. I wanted to have my name out there and be on those stages. And I think what really cemented it for me was I was World War II. Yeah, I went to my first ever event as a spectator in World War II. I went to Champs, and I followed. I watched all the matches there, and I think that's when I realized like I wanted to be on that stage. Like I could see myself doing what those guys were doing, and that was my first ever event, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I didn't play because I was still too young at the time, but it was so surreal, and I've been chasing that desire to be up there since then.
For me, it kind of started with my Codfather. I know a lot of COD kids in the community have like this thing called the Codfather, who really kind of puts you on Call of Duty competitively, and he really pushed me to keep challenging myself competitively. He got me out of playing just ranked play in 8s and got me to start doing chows on CMG. Got me to start making connections in the scene during MW3, and like he really just challenged me to, branch off from the group that I was playing with originally and like meet new people and widen my scale of like people who I was playing with. And he really was there for me and like, said that he believes in me. Like I can go pro, but like he sees it in me and that he really pushed me to do that. And the hours and hours of times, he sat there and coached me and sat there and, did these sessions with me where he tried to get me to be better at the game and learn and be more experienced. And it's really him. It was my IRL friend. His name was Dominic, and he really pushed me to get into competitive COD. And my first like, oh shit, I could really do this was, after that tournament, getting all these messages from these people in this court, and I started to branch off from the original group that I was playing with, and that's when I realized the skill was insane. Like the skill gap from what I thought I was good. I thought being iridescent was everything, and then I realized it's a different level above iridescent. And just that raw talent that I had in the beginning, that passion was just like it's a feeling that you just can't get back.
Definitely. Because a lot of people, like you guys said, you used to play like rank play just casually or game battles casually, but deciding that actually to pursue competition is completely different mindset, because you got all these extra things you got to do now. You got training and coaching. You got all this other stuff you're doing now. So I mean, what was the early grind like trying to enter the competitive scene? What was that early grind like?
For me, it was very rough. So, at the end of MW3, I got picked up on my first ever Challengers roster, and that was with the guy Elias that I played in the tournament with, and this guy named Screech, or he goes by Quit now. It was really these two gentlemen that, seen the raw talent that I had, and, they're like, hey, you got the gunny to compete. We know that. Let's fix your fundamentals. Let's fix your skills, that the mechanical skills that really matter in the game. And they started the Black Ops 6 Challenger season with me, and it was very rough. I mean, in scrims every day, it felt like we were improving, but by a slight margin. We ended up playing 11 cups, or I think it was 10 cups, 10 Challenger cups together without placing one single time. It was definitely a test for my patience, definitely a test for me as a Call of Duty player, where I was like, wow, like what am I doing? I played in 10 Challenger Cups and I haven't even seen past the third round. And it was really Elias and Quit that really took me on their shoulder and taught me a lot about the scene, taught me about how you should move, how you should play in game, and how you should play out of game with your networking skills. So it was very rough in the beginning, and then it started to pick up towards the end.
Awesome. Elias and Quit are two really great guys. I mean, if nobody has met them, they should probably go and get some coaching by at least Elias or quit.
Yeah, for sure.
They're really awesome guys. Great
They're awesome
memories.
guys. I bought Elias's book the other day. You know, the one that he
Oh, yeah.
released. Yeah.
Yeah. No, if I would have never met Elias and quit, I would have never met Aaron, and I would have never had this opportunity to play for X Element. I still remember to this day how it happened. You know, I was in a Wingstop parking lot. I was living in Portland, Oregon, and I originally got dropped from Elias and Quit's team. You know, after 10 cups, we finally just split ways, and then about a couple weeks later, I got a call from the two of them. They put me in a group chat call, and they just basically, hey, like they explained everything. Hey, this is X Element, and we want you to play with us. And that opened doors that I could never foresee.
Yeah, for me, how it all really got started and how difficult it was. I've actually had the displeasure of doing it twice now. The first time I tried, it was pure online wagers, a lot of leagues, building that up while I was underage, just playing a lot. And I built so many different teams throughout that time and everything like that. And what I had a long time to really put my name out there, and it was a lot harder without like the U18 scene and everything like that. I wasn't able to really go to any majors or any like local events or anything like that, so that was a huge limiting factor. And I think that I took a bit of a step back, and that's why I say I had to do this really twice, because roughly around the time that PC COD became a thing, a lot of cheaters like infested a lot of the online leagues and tournaments and stuff like that through game battles, CMG, all that other stuff, and it really demotivated me. But on this resurgence of, I came back in Modern Warfare 3, so I took like a couple of years break, just kind of not really playing too much and taking a step back, resetting, you know. And on my second pass through, I've been able to go to tournaments. I've been able to go to in-person tournaments, and that has drastically changed my competition and career in this space. Going to those events and playing in them, no matter how you do, is going to build your ability way faster and just get your name out there more. Because say you make a run with some team, or you even just get opportunities to play with players you usually wouldn't online.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge thing. So if you go to a local event or a major and fry, your name immediately jumps up way more than something like an online league or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that was a very big difference between the first time I did it and what I did now. And a lot of that did have to do with X Element, actually, and that team that Void was talking about. He helped enable me to be able to go to these events. So I'm very thankful for that. But the second time around, you know, I kind of knew what I was doing already. So I made sure to kind of take the right steps to put myself in good positions. And then everything lined up how it did. And here we are today.
Awesome. What do you people misunderstand the most about CDL Challengers?
So the work that you have to put in for it. I think don't even get me started about the sacrifice. You're completely right. The amount of time that you have to put in to become one of the top challenger players. And there are anomalies, you know, there are a special type of people that can play, you know, 3 hours, 4 hours a day and still excel and be in that top echelon of players. But to actually compete in challengers and to want to go pro, you have to put in, you know, utmost of 8 to 10 hours a day, and the sacrifices you have to make with family and friends and your work schedule. It literally takes over your entire life.
It does.
And if you're not ready for that, it can put you through a mental, you know, depression. If you're not ready for that type of strain of, you know, getting on every single day, playing 6 to 8 hours a day. And there's going to be weeks or months where you feel like you're not, you're not improving fast enough, or you're not, you know, being at the point where you think that you should be. And it really tests your mental on if you could keep going or not. So definitely the work that you have to put in, is a lot. It doesn't just come instantly.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, you have to sacrifice so much. It takes up everything. Like, you can't spend as much time as you would want to doing other things. You're gonna have to not hang out with friends, be able to spend as much time with family as you would want. Like even the pros have to do that. Like they don't get some of the even holidays. They're playing matches on holidays sometimes. So it takes up a lot of your life, and you have to be able to um be willing to go through that, and on top of that, put in the work to be efficient with that time.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you guys on that.
Yeah.
Sacrifice and dedication are key to.
It's more than a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good example of it is last year in June I went to a Kansas Urgent Fury LAN and I ended up winning the LAN with Frosty. But the sacrifice I made there was I missed my sister's graduation.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I mean,
Nah, it's okay. I'm trying to hopefully go to this my other sister's graduation this year, but I don't know. There's this
There's
North
another
Carolina
one.
LAN that looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, the North Carolina local. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you gotta be willing to put in a lot if you want to get to the aspirations that you want as a Challengers player, for sure. You have to work harder than everyone around you, and you have to go out. You have to do a lot to reach those goals.
Yeah. It's not just show up and do whatever, you got to actually put in the work. So
Yeah. For some people, there are a few occasion people that they get put on. Like some of these Fortnite pros that are coming in, or some of these Halo pros that are coming in to compete in COD. Like they genuinely just get put on, and
Wow.
it is what it is. You still got to outwork those kids.
Yeah. Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, EG World War II was mind blowing. I saw it in person. I couldn't believe it. That was impossible. They were like such wow.
just being at a LAN event is just amazing. I mean,
Oh, it is.
It's a whole
It's
different
great.
atmosphere compared to like online, or because you're actually integrating with actual people. Like you're talking with other teams and playing against these other teams that you probably would never see in an online match. So I mean, it's just a lot more fun, I guess, is what because you got so much to do while you're at the LAN events. There's so much to do that you probably wouldn't be able to do it all while in those 3 days that those events happen, because some of those events are 3 days, some are 4 days, some are 2 days. So
yeah.
And all these other sponsor companies and stuff that are there handing out free stuff, and it's just
Sometimes if you're lucky.
sometimes, yeah, you get like goodie bags and stuff. Some of them, yeah. Because I know the one that was in, what was it? It was in Missouri. That was it was one of the first tournaments that X Element went to. The Apex and all that stuff was there. They had Apex, Warzone, Call of Duty, and like Rocket League and Tekken and all that stuff.
Wow.
They had like actual sponsor tables where they were handing out like goodie bags and hats, and
Nice.
pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. Talking about events, let's talk about you guys' experience at Major 3 in Atlanta. You both just competed at DreamHack Atlanta through ESL FACEIT Group. What's the atmosphere like walking into a CDL major LAN?
Well, I was the first person in that door. Actually, funnily enough, I was at the door when it opened in the player side portion. We got in a little bit before the GA passes, and walking in, it's surreal. It's such a massive place. There's so many things that you can go and see immediately. There's like a whole The lights are all flickering and going crazy. You see like several different stages, especially at a DreamHack. Like DreamHacks are very unique in that way, where they host so many different games, and it's like a whole con basically. It's like a whole. There's so many different things to do at a DreamHack, and that's why they're so regarded or well regarded, should I say? And walking in, it's amazing, especially when you're a player, because you're thinking not only are you gonna be able to go and play, but you can also you're also entertaining as well. You're also a part of this massive thing, and that's a really unique and awesome experience. Um, but overall, you're there to win. You're there to focus. So some of it, for me, I kind of put it on the back burner, like, wow, this is so really cool. This is so really cool. But then I got to refocus and think about, okay, I'm here to do a job, and I'm gonna go do that job. It's really cool. I remember walking in and just seeing like the pit, seeing the Challengers pit, and what it's so big compared to other events that I've been to. It was massive. There were so many screens for Challengers. Like, that's so new. We don't really have that usually. There was 4 stages for Challengers. That was awesome. Like, wow. It was a great event. Like from a spectator's perspective, 100%. It was actually amazing.
Yeah, LAN events are very, very unique. That this was my 10th LAN I've been to. I've been to 5 majors and 5 locals. And, DreamHack is very unique, like you said, because it's not just Call of Duty. I've been to 3 other majors that were just purely Call of Duty. And like those type of majors are super like straight business. It's a big room with a ballroom. Like it's massive and like it's just straight business. Like you just play, and then when you're done, you're sitting in like a waiting room. Like it's literally just like that. But DreamHack is unique. It's a different environment when you step in. Like I was also one of the first people to see those doors, open all the way up. And wow, I mean, like it's kind of overwhelming because part of the kid side of me wants to go around and look at all the booths, and like I'm walking around, and like the Challenger venue is in the far corner where it's like I'm walking past Halo, I'm walking past CS:GO, and all these anime booths, and there's cosplay players walking around, and you're just like, wow, like this is surreal. And walking up to the Challenger pit and knowing that you're not here with a general admission pass, you're not here with the VIP to spectate, you're here to play, and they treat you differently because of that. And I love that, being able to go to an area where not everyone can go to, being to hear your name being called out, or see other Challenger players that like, oh, hey Void, how you doing? I'm Rosa. I'm like, oh shoot, all these guys I've talked to, heard their voices on LAN, to put a face to the name now, it's amazing. And the atmosphere is just so like it's very awesome. It's very awesome. And you definitely have to be a certain type of personality to thrive in it, because there's 2 things that you can do. You can be nervous and shy, have a little anxiety, but the more lanes you go to, the more like you just walk in and you're just you're the shit. Like you're him. Like you're here to play, you're here to compete, and like there's no nerves.
Definitely.
So fun.
It's very different, it's like waiting for a concert. You're sitting outside the front, waiting for the doors to open. Then the doors open, everybody's excited, rushing in. Yeah, like, yes, we're here, we're ready.
I was the first person in, but there were some Challengers guys that really wanted PCs, and they were running. They were running into the venue, because it's like,
oh yeah,
usually it's first come, first serve with the PCs. You get on them like 30 minutes early, and then they start calling the matches, right? But for this event, those guys didn't really get. No, it was immediate. We got sat down at our booths immediately when we started playing. Like, because the signups didn't close until like 10 minutes after they were supposed to, or like 20 minutes after they were supposed to. So it was we just sat down and immediately started playing. It really pulled us right back in. Like, oh
yeah,
like what he said with like the child side of, yo, this is so awesome. I need to go see everything this place has to offer. And then you hear your name called, Station 15, X Element, whatever the case may be. And you're like, oh, wait, it's time to lock in. And then you go in, you sit down, you set up your controller, you set up your stuff, you make the monitor the right size, make sure your settings are all good. and then you just play. You do what you're there to do. It's a really awesome feeling.
Awesome.
And then when you win a map, you can stand up and scream all you like, and not have to worry about a thing besides the gameplay. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, because I was trying to watch you guys online. Like, I was trying to find you guys on the Challenger side because they gotta be, because they were doing like the recording for Challengers. So I was like, they gotta be in there somewhere. I gotta find them. I could never find you guys, but watching online is one thing, but actually physically being there and hearing the crowd and seeing all the setups and feeling the pressure, that's way different than compared to online. How does competing on LAN compare to competing online for you guys?
Yeah, it's a different story. I try to explain this to some of the Challenger kids that are going to their first lands and stuff like that, but it's a different ball game. When you show up to the event and you're ready to sit down at your station when your name's called, there's so many things that are happening at once. You have to make sure that your mic is working. My team had issues with our mic. Oh, this guy's mic's echoing. We got to fix that right now. Or, oh, my mic was the wrong mic adapter. I can't plug it in. Or, oh, this guy's PC, he can't overclock his controller. So there's a lot of technical difficulties that actually happen, and some people get very lucky with it. You just plug everything in and it works, but other teams don't. And, it's nerve wracking when like you're that person because they're very quick. Like you log on, you get your settings done, and you get bare minimum, maybe 5 minutes, if that, to shoot bots, even if they will let you. So being that person that has to fiddle with all the settings, get the admin to come over to help you out with the settings. And then once you're done, like everyone's already wrapped up, everyone's already shooting bots, and they're like, "Oh, you got no warm up for you." And that's just the technical side of it. The other side of it is actually feeling that environment on LAN. The audio is different, so you can either hear your whole team or hear only game. The atmosphere of hearing, like if let's say you lose a gunfight that you should not have lost, like hearing the other opponent stand up and say your name out loud and say that you badly lost that gunfight. Those type of things are insane. Like it checks you out, and you really have to stay locked in. And the people that really excel on LAN are the people that can keep that mentality of like you're the best in the world and you're here to compete. Because if you don't have that passion and fire, that flame to be able to stand up and be aggressive on LAN and to show people that you're not one to be messed with, like you will get hurt. Like people will do it to you. So it's kind of that environment where I pride myself on, like, I want to be loud. Even if I'm down 100 points, I want to stand up and scream, and I want to let the other team know that, like, there's no weakness with me. So that environment is very crazy, and yes, it is nerve wracking. But the more lands you go to, the more it's just like you already know. You've been here before. Like you walk up, you already know how everything goes.
And some people will fold under that stuff. Like if they get turned on really bad and they get called out for it, you hear it through your headset. If you hear that, it can do some things to your brain and make you play worse. Or some people rise up to it. It lights a fire under them. Like, I'm not letting that happen again. I'm gonna go get this next 3-piece in this next hill. I'm gonna make them regret that they spoke up. Like that. Like some people fold under that pressure and that
that's what I see.
Berating on LAN. It's a very toxic environment, but everyone's there to do their job to make it as far as they can in that bracket. They're gonna do what they think they need to do to make sure that they win. And if that's trash talk and set somebody off, then hey, sometimes that's just an edge you can get on a player.
Mind games.
Yeah, mind games.
Oh yeah, there's mind games.
On top of that, like
all the time.
Like S&D is a huge thing. If you're in one of the lands that only has COD and it's only just a bunch of players right next to each other and no like huge crowd or anything like that, for S&D you have to talk really quietly. Like if you're developing a play, you can't go, "Yo guys, I'm behind 3 of them," because then they'll hear you and then it'll turn around. That has happened to me. Like at my very first local LAN, I was screaming, and then I heard a guy on the other team through my headset go, "Yo, he just said they're behind us." And I literally, this happened to me. So like I had to, like, there's a lot of adjusting you have to do, even in your comms. Like you wouldn't even think you have to do. And it's so unique, but it's so fun. It's so fun, especially the events with the crowds, like the one that just happened where I was playing, like it was like a 250 to like 2, or it was like a 240 to 240 game. Every kill, the crowd was getting louder and louder as that game was coming to an end. And that's surreal to be in that moment with the crowd doing it. It's crazy. And people having eyes on you, that's a whole other thing as well. Some people don't like being spectated like that. And some people thrive off of it and can only do well under that circumstance. So there's so many factors that people don't even think about. And that just make LAN so much better. Yeah. So much better.
Yeah, compared to online where you're literally in the most comfortable position every single time. Like it's in online is like, it's weird to say, it's like there's literally genuinely a group of people that play better online and better on LAN. Some people always just play consistent no matter what. But yeah, there's a large discrepancy of Call of Duty kids that, when they go to LAN, they turn the fuck up. But when they're online, they, underperform, or vice versa. Online, they're just, these guys are amazing, sign the contract right now. Then they go to LAN and all of a sudden they're going double negative and people are like, what happened to that kid?
Yep. Yep.
So that goes into my next question. What's going through you guys' mind before a LAN match starts?
I'm kind of a psychopath. My goal going into this last Atlanta DreamHack was to check out the opponent team, and I made that my very, 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 very effort for my first 2 matches. That first match where it was, we were up 100 points and we had it, locked down. We were up 150 points. I didn't give a fuck. I stood up after a 3-piece while we're up 150, and I'm looking them in the eyes, screaming at them, calling them, words that I probably shouldn't say on the podcast.
Yeah, understandable.
And I'm screaming.
Keep it in the
screaming.
Pit.
Yeah, keep it in the pit, and I'm screaming. Like, yo, trade me, this and that. Where are you looking at? I remember the first round of S&D. I told my teammates, if we win this first round, we will steamroll them, right? Because as soon as you win that, only one round, this comebacks, in Call of Duty history that are way past just one round in Call of Duty, but we win one round, I'm standing up already like I won the game, and I'm looking everybody in the eyes while I do it, because it really is a psychological warfare. I promise you that. Some people won't admit it and say, oh, I won't get checked online, or, oh, that won't bother me. But when you lose that first round, or when you know that you messed up and you hear that, like, it's a different feeling. It's like, I can't even explain the mental warfare. It's indescribable, really. It really is. And if you shut down, and if you fold and get quiet on LAN, like, you will get steamrolled. So you kind of have to thrive on that. So yeah, my preparations was just like, this is my team's basically first LAN. I had one guy who it was his first ever LAN ever. I had another guy that's only been to one LAN. So basically 2 fresh newbies. And it was me and my other veteran, who the veteran was, very calm, very humble, collected, so I was the only guy on the team that was like, I know what I have to do. And, part of that not only checks out the enemy team, but it also brings your team up. Like, the energy of knowing that your teammate right next to you is standing up, he's getting hype. I'm dapping my teammates up a little extra harder. Like, wow, this guy's turned. Like, I'm turned now, now the quiet guy in the group is standing up. I'm like, I've never seen this guy raise his voice before. So like, to really bring my energy and enable my teammates to do better is what I thrive off of. I thrive off of enabling people.
For me, I like to do a lot of like mental preparation of like, okay, I know the map that I'm playing, so I know where I'm going in these situations. I know what I'm doing off of spawns, and I kind of run through scenarios in my head just to make sure I stay composed in the map. Because when the map happens, you have to be focused on so many different things. So a little bit of mental preparation for me goes a long way into making sure that I'm doing my thing on the map that I need to be doing, and I can focus on the more niche things that would suit my role. Like, I have to play at such a fast pace that most of the things kind of have to come first nature. Like, I kind of just have to do. And making sure I run through that in my head before a match, like, oh, I'm playing Colossus. I know that I'm going to go off break, throw this nade, get a free kill, then I'm going to jump off this wall, get that kill, and it's going to be smooth sailing, and I just like to do a lot of, like, scenarios in my brain and just make sure that I'm sharp. Okay, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, just making sure I'm really sharp so that I can be the best teammate in game for comms. Because my job on the team is to like help out our more vocal players by saying the niche things. Whereas like the vocal player will say like the more vocal players will calm like spawns and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll be the one calming names. Like I'll be like, oh, it's this guy. Oh, they're not pushing this way. Like I'll be the point man. Like so I have to really focus on that sort of stuff in the game. So before the game starts, I think to myself, I give myself a little bit of like a morale boost. Like we got this. We can do this. We went over this map. We know exactly how we want to play this map. We're gonna do it like this. And I usually do it out loud with my teammates, and then I just give ourselves the confidence, you know, reassure it as fact, speak it into existence that it's going to happen, and then trust my teammates in the game. That's kind of where my head goes.
All right. So, next question. Was there a specific moment during Major 3 that stood out to you emotionally or competitively?
Shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Mine happened first, I imagine.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Mine was my last match.
Yeah, so we were the first team to play, the first team on stream, and the first one on the big screen in the pit. People were still walking into the venue to behold a beautiful sight. A sight of a map 1, round 1 Clifftown hardpoint. And that map was an absolute movie. This year has been an absolute movie for me.
To bounce off of what he said real quick, for you that don't know, or the viewers that don't know, nobody in the challenger scene is playing Cliptown. It's an automatic like gentleman's agreement. Like, oh yeah, we won't play that map, right? We won't play that map. Like nobody likes that map. Nobody wants to play it. But this team, just like me. I wouldn't have thought it. Nobody was even banning Clifftown because who's gonna play Clifftown? I was one of those challenger players that when I looked up at that main screen, I'm loading up to my match too, by the way. I'm like, Clifftown?
Who's playing that?
Who's playing Clifftown? And I'm looking up with all the challenger players, and I'm like, Frosty, Quit, Hyper, and his team are playing Clifftown. I could not believe it,
sir. So, in the prior cup, the for the 64 round, we were forced to play Clifftown. They don't let you like change the maps or anything like that. So, we played Clifftown and we won it against a pretty solid team. And we were like, maybe we use that in the tourney. Maybe we use that at the LAN. So we did it. Going to LAN, like there's a bunch of gentlemen's agreements that players don't that the players use throughout the year, basically to make the competitive integrity of the game more solid, have a bigger foundation. So you're not like getting BS'd by something that's entirely unfair, you know? And a lot of people break that on LAN because it's really hard to track. It's really hard to keep track of. Some people will use attachments on their pistol or run 4 trophies or, you know, do so many different things that break the integrity, right? And it was very controversial for us to pick that map, despite it being in the official map pool, because people basically, gentleman's agreement, we're not playing this map. So to be the first team to play, we made a statement playing that map. And not only did we make a statement playing it, we were up 100 points and the other team came back. It was a 240 to 240 game. And they were making a crazy comeback. It was on the P2 of the Clifftown. And I remember spawning on the back bridge. And I saw in the kill feed, my teammate Quit got 2 kills. And I was like, let's go.
Awesome.
He jumps up into the ladder and then he bounces off the wall on accident and almost falls off the map. And the entire venue screamed because it was such a close game. The entire venue screamed. And then I spawned watching him do it. The first thought in my mind was, I'm in a movie. There's no way we're losing this map. I'm in a movie. And I ran forward. I ran forward begging like everything to not lose this map. And Quit jumped into the hill, immediately died, and I just said to myself, If someone comes on my right, I'm dead. I jumped into the hill, got a 3-piece, and then the game ended. I would have got the 4-piece.
Oh wow.
I won the game on the break, and I was just like, thank God I got that 3-piece
That is
after that
awesome.
map. It was a movie.
Mhm.
It was such a misfortunate year for me. I thought it was going to happen again, and I willed it out of existence. I prevented that. That was definitely the most memorable moment for me, was that first map. Because it not only was it like a huge moment for me, but the whole community, where it was like, these guys are playing Clifftown. What a...
Mhm.
And yeah, turned a lot of heads for sure.
I actually have a clip of that I can send you as well, of the moment he's talking about and the reaction of the crowd. So it was, yeah, it was very, I was part of that reaction because I looked up and I was like, wow. And like, we all seen it. We all seen Quit bounce off the window and then die immediately right after that. And like, it was crazy. It was surreal. And then Frosty walked in, popped a 4-piece. It was just like, oh yeah, it's just Frosty.
I was like, thank God I won that. And then I stood up and screamed at those guys. I screamed at them. It's on stream. You can see me. I'm screaming. I'm like, get out of here. Oh, man. Oh, it was great. It was great. Best moment of the event for me, for sure.
My frustrating moment happened in my third match of the day when I was competing for top 48. We were playing against a team that had, 17,000 pro points, a team that on paper beats us 10 times out of 10 times, a team that I played against before, and, they beat us very, very hard. So going into it, it was already going to be a tough matchup because I knew these kids. I knew how good they were. I played against them before. Basically, ultimately, you're spawning into a match that you already know you're going to lose. But, to put salt in the wound, we're halfway through our second map. And if you don't know, when there's a kill cam at the end of the round, it shows you the class the person's using and their perks that they have. And, going off of what Frosty said about these gentleman agreements that people have, just to be clear, though, these agreements are just like gentleman agreements. It's not the actual rules of Challengers. So technically, yeah, so technically, like, it's okay to do these type of things. It's okay to play Cliptown. It's okay to do what I'm about to speak about, but it's just frowned upon. So, we found out that they were using tack and flak, which is a combination of perks that you're not allowed to use. It basically makes you immune to stuns, and you can't die from a nade, like one shot by a nade. So, we found out that these players that, on paper, these guys are going to beat us no matter what they did. But all 4 of them were using tack and flak against us. And we felt like we got cheated because this was the second. We were already in the middle of the second map. So the first map we played was Colossus. And to anybody who's watching who's a Call of Duty player, you know that tack and flak is especially good on Colossus. You're immune to stuns, you're immune to nades, like you're basically a walking super soldier. And all 4 of them were using it against a team that, they probably could have beat us pistols only if they wanted to. Like, this team was very good. And it was just, it was very definitely, very salty, because I felt like if I was going to lose, I wanted to lose fairly. But to know that I lost and they were breaking GAs was just kind of like throwing salt in the wound. It left a sour taste in my mouth, especially because a couple of the players on their team, like Versailles, I thought we were cool. I looked up to a couple of these players in the scene. So it definitely was very unfortunate that, also someone broke a GAs against us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's GAs are in a weird spot right now. People want more GAs. People want less GAs. People want different things GA'd and certain things to be allowed. Like, I think it goes a little bit too far when you're getting rid of a map in the pool.
Yeah.
I know that the pros didn't put the pool or the map in or even suggest the map, but it's in the pool.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a little bit too far for my standard. But, like, when scrimming and stuff like that, like, we're not gonna like play it if the other team doesn't want to play it. Whatever, it happens like that. But it's like a different moral thing when people are using like attachments on their pistols only on LAN, or like breaking these like really niche GAs, like putting a muzzle on your AR or your sub, that like, or like just banned attachments and stuff like that. It's really grimy and just like a weird area. At least with like a map, oh, I'm playing this map. Okay, like, I think there's a bit of a diss. There's like, they're a little bit less comparable. And I think like the GAs are in a weird spot right now.
Yeah.
And going literally like every LAN I've been to, most of the teams break the moral GAs.
Yeah.
And it's not a good situation. We need to find some sort of solve. We need to find an answer to that problem because people do.
I remember the first LAN that I went to with Frosty. It was in Miami, and I remember we were just like chilling, headsets off, shooting some bots, and all of a sudden we just hear someone scream like two setups down. He's running rapid fire on his pistol.
Oh yeah,
bro. When I tell you, I think I seen like 60 heads just snap back and look towards this one person, and like some people started walking behind him while he was trying to like fiddle with his glasses, and this guy was running rapid fire on his pistol, which was also not allowed.
Every event, dude. It's every event.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was actually insane. Yeah, so it's just one of those things that on LAN people get a little gross. They get a little, a little cheeky with it,
Yeah. It always is. It's hard to enforce the GAs, especially at a LAN event. So, if they had more moderators, it might be a little bit easier to keep track of. But
well, if there were actually a rule, then because the thing is like the thing is that like if you called it out, like they can't do anything about it. Like they're technically playing by the rules, so you have to do it. You either have to do it too or suck it up.
Yeah. So if you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I sucked it up except for the map. I was like, man, we're playing Clifftown. Like we're playing Clifftown, but we're not breaking any other GAs. We're not breaking any like small things.
Yeah,
and like things that matter. The map is a map, but it's just a square up. Both teams don't have practice on it. You're just like, why not? Why not?
I'd be checked out. I'd be checked out.
No, it was Jackie. Then it was so funny because our next match, we played the number 1 seed next match, right? And they banned both of the maps we played. They banned Clifftown. We forced them to ban Clifftown and ban our Scar S&D after that match. Like it worked. The strategy worked. It was great.
Do they enforce any of like the other GAs, like for like the head glitches and stuff like that? They don't enforce
No, you can snake all you want.
Oh, wow.
You can snake
no. They only go off of the Challenger rulebook. So they post the rulebook, and whatever's in that rulebook is free game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they reset a game that was 7-7 in Overload on overtime.
So really, the GAs don't matter.
They don't matter
online.
Well,
it's just complicated. It's basically more like a it's like
you'll get chastised by the community, what could end up happening is you'll get blacklisted from scrims against really good teams. You could get blacklisted.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It basically is like a reputation thing.
Yeah, it's like a reputation.
Okay.
That's like the only.
But only for the kids that are 64 and below. They everybody else can do it though. 32, 16 up. They can break GAs.
Yeah, right.
No one bats an eye. But 64 kid does it or something like that. They're all crying to the community. It's a weird game.
Lord forbid I pick Clifftown, but everybody's breaking GAs at the event. Lord forbid.
Yeah.
Lord forbid, guys.
It just seems like it's
pick and choose.
Yeah.
It is definitely pick and choose, and it's based on your reputation. So if you're like a person that's well endowed within the community, you're probably not going to face a lot of backlash for it.
Yeah. No, you FF some kid for wrong acting. If you're a freaking, one of the T16 kids, it's like, oh yeah, good job. But if you're one of the 64 kids, 128 kids, or if you forfeit the wrong people, it's like all of a sudden you did something wrong, even though everyone else is doing it.
Yep.
That's just. There's a few things that need to change in competitive esports.
I agree.
GAs need to get figured out for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a good system we have right now.
Let's move on to the reality of the Challengers grind. Now I want to talk about the reality of the grind because Challengers isn't easy. It never has been easy. What's the hardest part about being a CDL Challengers player?
I would say I would still kind of bounce off of a previous statement about just the sacrifices you have to make. I have made a lot of sacrifices in the last couple of years of my life to play Call of Duty. Um, I moved all the way from California to Kansas just to compete for Call of Duty, nothing else. So I moved 2,000 miles away from my hometown. I'm from Sacramento, California, and I moved all the way here to Kansas so that I can be in a better ping central area, have easier travel for like when I want to go to lands and stuff like that, and become part of the face of an organization that wants to help me go pro. And I had to leave all of my family, my friends, relationships that I had, and I moved up here, and it has not been easy for me at all. I've been constantly working every single day. I've been, behind on bills. I've been like in credit card debt, and I've made so many sacrifices to make a dream that's so unreachable come true. And part of me is a little crazy for trying to accomplish that, but I'm just so invested and so passionate about trying to follow my dream. And I want to at least give it a shot. I don't want to be that old head hooping at the park saying, "Oh, I could have went pro if I tried," or "Oh, I could have went to the NBA, this and that." I want to at least say, at least I tried. At least I went out there and I gave it my all. And if it works out for me, that's amazing. And if it doesn't, then at least I could say, "Hey, I did something that I wanted to do, and I went for it." And I traveled around the world. I've been to 12 different cities because of Call of Duty. So sacrifices have been made, and that's what I've chosen to do with my life.
I agree, but for the sake of just pointing out other things that are difficult, like I think that is definitely the most difficult thing. But just to point out like other difficulties, I think like there's a lot of mental battles that challengers players go through. Of like feeling like just like my entire mood is based off of my performance, based off of like my placement. Like in these online
Yep.
matches or on LAN. Like if you're not placing where you think you should be or where you need to be or like something like that, like if you underperform or you overperform but it wasn't enough, etc. Like there's a lot of things that just like take a mental toll on you, and you have to be able to like be so gritty and determined to just take it with stride. Like you have to be able to keep pushing forward despite a lot of setbacks. It's not going to be easy, and it is not easy for anyone. For anyone, there is uh, a lot of ups and downs, a lot, and
Yeah.
uh, you just got to keep fighting. You just have to keep fighting no matter what. And some people like that. That's harder. That's easier said than done for a lot of people.
It definitely is. Do you think how do you both deal with losses, pressure, or burnout during the season?
Mm,
I honestly don't feel too much like pressure. It's weird. Like I'm a generally like kind of anxious person. However, I don't really feel a lot of pressure. I'm more just uh I go into it knowing I'm giving my all at all times, and that kind of relieves that pressure. Like I'm going to do my best no matter what, and whatever happens happens. Now I'll go and will myself to like and desire and like try to push my desire to like place better and whatnot, but I don't really feel like a lingering pressure like oh no, what happens if this doesn't work out or this doesn't work out. It's more like it's kind of more calm for me, to be quite honest. um what was the other part of your question? I'm sorry. There was like three different parts to that question.
The
Losses and burnout. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. With losses, they really take a toll on me because I really put my all into everything. So when I lose, like I always think about what I could have done, and I always want it back because I know that I put my everything into this and that I can compete at a very, very competitive level and a very high level. So I take a lot of pain from my losses, but I also learn a lot from my losses. And I definitely need a moment to, regain, take a moment, step back. But then when I'm back, I'm more focused than ever. I just have to like take a step away from Call of Duty for a second, for like a few hours maybe, and then refocus my mind. When my mind's refocused, from like relaxing or just, maybe getting a little bit of food to just reset the mind.
A little hard.
Be in a more healthy space. Yeah, a little bit of get in a healthy space, and then take the energy or that anger, that upset energy, and turn it into something that makes me better. And that's when you re-lock in, you get back into why you lost and how you will improve and what you need to be doing. That's kind of how I kind of like de-stress after a loss, and how I deal with it. You just gotta take it as a learning experience. You have to. If you don't, you're not gonna be able to survive at this level.
For me, it's kind of the opposite of pressure wise. I feel very pressured to perform well and to place well and succeed. Not only have I sacrificed a lot individually for this game, but I've also have a huge YouTube community that's backing me as well. That they're on my ass every single day. They pinpoint every single mistake I make. They're watching every single second of me. Some of them are more hardcore than others. And on top of that, I also have an organization to, make proud as well. So for me, the pressure has always been very, very, on top of me. But I think that's a good thing because it's also pushed me to, work harder than others. It's pushed me to I know there's so many people watching, so many people who are preying on my success and preying on my downfall that it pushes me to work harder, to grind, to get better individually as a player, because ultimately I know that I have to perform and I have to place because this is something that I want to do for a living. A way that, something I do to, help with my burnouts and, because burning out on COD is a real thing. I mean, you're playing the same game, 8 to 10 hours a day, every single day. It's repetitive. Some things that I personally do is, I have other games that I, play that are, some are relaxing or some are competitive, I talk to my IRLs a lot and, they help me after losses. They help me after setbacks and, they get me back into that mode of, why I'm here in Kansas, why I'm here doing what I'm doing. So definitely I would say that like friends have helped me push past the setbacks that I've, endured. But yeah, I mean, I totally feel the pressure and I kind of use that as a fire to get me going and to keep me moving and using friends and family members to help me with my setbacks have helped me get into the right mindset where, have a bad placement, like Frosty said, take a couple hours off, maybe take the whole day off to, relax, play some games to get your mind off things and then like reset when you come back in tomorrow morning. And you got to be able to just like turn it off like that. You got to be able to just be upset 30 seconds ago and then hey, you're spawning up for your second map, like you have to read like like night and day, you know what I'm saying? So definitely mentality is very, very big a part of the scene, very big.
Yeah, you have to be in control of your emotions during an event for sure.
Definitely,
you have to have a lot of control over yourself.
Yeah,
I think
staying composed is very important.
Yeah, I think it's very important because people only like see the wins. They don't really see what players actually go through mentally behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think enough support exists for Challengers players right now in any of those areas?
I think it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Like some people get luckier than others. Some people literally have to get it out themselves. They have to do everything themselves. And there are some people that are luckier where they have an organization that's backing them. They have higher players in like connections you made that are also helping them. So there are tools that some people can use to, to be supported in this community with, funding or with coaching or with people that are helping you out. But there's a lot of people in the community that have to do everything themselves. They have to learn everything themselves. They have to spend the hours of watching that one pro CDL player that goes live once a month, see this, small thing that he's doing differently than you. Like, there's so many hours of unknowns that you put into that nobody ever sees. Nobody ever sees the hours that you're studying, this certain CDL VOD or this certain CDL point of view. And I wish there was more outlets for people in the challengers community to rise to that occasion, but unfortunately, it's so gatekept with the top 8 organizations to get into that. The organizations that aren't funding anything and they're just offering a community. Some of them are handled very well. Some of them don't have a large community, or some of them are just like it seems like it's just a group of people thrown together. So definitely, I wish there was more support in the challengers community for us players.
Yeah, for better or for worse, not everybody gets the same opportunity. That's for sure in this scene. And when you think about like on the other end of that, like support challengers wise officially, I think it's getting better from like the Activision / CDL side. I think it's slowly getting better with each event that they've been doing very recently that I've been to. The challengers format is a little better. The streaming of the events is getting better and more managed, and you're a lot more eyes are able to look at challengers players as well, like on that perspective. So I think from the perspective of like the Call of Duty themselves supporting the scene, I think it is slowly getting better. It was definitely in a worse state before than it is now. So that is at least some positive.
What would you guys change about the Challengers ecosystem if you could?
Open events, every event. That's the first thing. You gotta have open events. You gotta have not exactly the same to how they just did it, but back in the CWL era, prior to the CDL, what they did was the challengers bracket was open. So you would go and you would play, and then the teams, like the top 4 teams or whatever, would then get seeded into pools. They would get seeded into the pools. Then the pools would go into the bracket, and then you'd play it out. That's how every event worked for so long, and that system it just needs to come back. That's the first thing that I would do.
For me, personally, I would love for them to have more Challenger Cups and more major events for Challengers players. I think it is 14 cups a year online. And some of them are spread across, like once every 2 weeks, sometimes once every 3 weeks. I would love to be competing every single weekend if that's a possibility. I would love to compete in a cup every weekend. I would like to go to, multiple majors a year. Last year was amazing. They had 3 majors that were in United States. This year, there's 2 majors in the United States. So, a lot of us that don't have the money to go fly overseas to Paris and to Birmingham can't compete. And I would love to, compete in 6, 7, 8 different majors a year. I know it's a lot of money to host these tournaments, but I would like to see some more diversity from these events, to really give more opportunities to challenge people to show what we're worth. Because sometimes you can have a bad day at COD, and it makes it feel like those weeks of preparation, months of preparations, and you play one day that you're supposed to perform and you have a bad day. It's like the more opportunities they give us, the more opportunities that people can find these talented players in the scene.
Yep, the more curated the scouting. Yeah. And to just add a very slight thing onto what he said, make sure that every major event has a challengers bracket, has a challengers event to it, because some of them don't, and they're not supported, which is heresy for a Call of Duty, in my opinion. That's crazy to me that some of the events like in the prior years haven't supported a challengers bracket. That's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah.
Let's shift into gameplay and mentality. What separates average players from truly competitive players?
I would say your ability to be open about learning. I have met a lot of challenger players that are very, very egotistical. Now, I think to compete in challengers and to compete in any type of esports, you do have to have ego. You have to have that, that confidence in you to like, you're the best in the world. But at the same time, you have to be like a sponge and you have to soak up all this information from your fellow peers, even if you do think that you're better than them. I've had so many occasions of learning from people in my challenger career so far, people that, like, yeah, I'm better than this guy, but like, wow, this one thing he said to me, I listened and it actually made me become a better player. And to bounce off of that, it's if people were more open about learning and learning different philosophies and play styles of the game, people would mesh better with people and have better chemistry with people. So I definitely think that um, more challenger players being open to learning from other players and not being so egotistical about things is what probably sets them back from reaching to higher heights. And to be honest, it gives them less opportunities as well.
It's a tough question. I can't think of something better than what he just said. I'm trying to think.
What was the question one more time?
What separates average players from truly competitive players?
Yeah.
I think it's like, honestly, I'm gonna say motivation and like drive. That's what I'm gonna say, because somebody can go sit down and play ranked and have a fun time, right? Somebody can go down and play Call of Duty for fun and have a great experience, whether maybe they play wagers recreationally or what have you, but like the difference between like an average player and a competitive player is their goals, right? They want to be in the league. They want to go to the biggest events in the world, and they want to show that they are the best player in the game. That's what they want to do. They want to go out on those stages, and they want to prove to not only themselves, but to the world that they deserve to be on those stages. That's the difference. I think an average player is, they could be a little bit competitive, and you could get into some wagers and stuff like that, but to truly be a competitor, not only do you have to have the skill, not only do you have to be playing the game, but you also have to be fully motivated and have that dream and determination to get to that spot. If you don't even have that, you're not going to get far.
Yeah, to add on top of that real quick, another thing that separates the average to the truly competitive players is that, there's players that just, they hop on and they just scrim, one game mode every single day and then they hop off. I think the average people get separated from the truly, truly competitive people are the people that, one, they scrim every single game mode every single day, and then also at the same time, a lot of VOD work. There's so much research that you have to do to stay ahead of the scene. Like upcoming new spots, new head glitches, new angles, new routes, new breakoffs, like all those type of things are things that can benefit you if you're one of those type of players that is constantly watching, pro gameplay, constantly, staying up to date with the new metas. And some of the average players in the CDL scene just, they just hop on and like, oh yeah, I'm just scrimming all day today. Like they have no like end goal.
Yeah, the working to improvement to see the payoffs, to then see the steps that you need to take in order to get to that higher level, right? There are levels to there's levels between challengers players and ranked players, but there's levels between challengers players and challengers players. There's so many different layers of the competition that you need to break through the wall of. You need to break through the wall of.
Yeah.
It's like he said a little bit earlier, a little gate kept, because tight knit community. You don't want people to have an upper hand on you. Because you're trying to do the same thing, right? So that's another reason why it's like that. But and then on top of that, the highest level of challengers, there's a level between them and the pros, and like the mid tier pros, and then the mid tier pros have a level between them and the actual contenders, right? Like there's so many layers that keep going, and it's all it's all about like determination and effort and your dreams and how much dedication you're willing to put in. Like you have to know the game in and out by heart. And you have to be able to work with a team efficiently enough, because it's not an individual game. It's not an individual game. You can have the 4 best players on the team, or in the world, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be the best team. Like there's so many different things that go into it, and it's a lot to manage. But if you really want it, then
you'll do it.
then you'll do it.
Yeah, there's a saying, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And like that's what a lot of challenger kids do. Is they just hop on every day, they just scrim hard point every single day. They do it for a cool 4 to 6 hours, and then they just hop off. They don't do no VOD, they don't do no CDL research, they don't do nothing but just scrim hard point all day. And those people are the people that don't learn as fast as the other people that do.
Definitely. How important is chemistry and communication in competitive COD?
So huge. It's so important. It's, at least from my personal experience and the way that I want to play Call of Duty, having that chemistry and bond with your teammates is massive. This year has shown me that enough, because last year I was kind of babied and coddled where, for the first 10 cups of the year, like I said, I was playing with the same 3 individuals for the first, 4 or 5 months of the game. And then immediately after that is when I started teaming with Void and Frosty, and me, him, and another player teamed again for another almost year of challengers. So, that chemistry and that bond that we developed was insane. The communication skills that we have. We've had so many top amateurs tell us like, wow, you guys' comms are amazing. Like you guys are on point with your comms. And there's levels to that. And then, going into this year where I played on multiple different rosters with multiple different people, there's teams that I'm like, okay, well, these guys, we're not the best, but like, wow, the chemistry is there. Like we're doing things on the same page. We're just not, getting that result we're looking for. And then there's teams where I played on where I'm like, wow, like these guys are insane, but we're always butting heads. We're always, talking to each other in a bad manner. And then, you continue to do that. And for me personally, it sets a bad omen on the team where it's like, I don't even want to hop on the scrim. I don't even want to play anymore with you guys, because every day it's something new. Every day it's constant bickering back and forth, and the chemistry that you have with your teammates can elevate your placing, elevate your gameplay, and if you have bad chemistry, it can affect you negatively. And that's why this year I've chosen to play with certain players over other players, even if necessarily they're not better than those players. But like for me personally, I don't want to play with someone that's going to negatively affect my own gameplay, negatively affect my own mental, because this is something that, me and Frosty just talked about. Mental is so massive in this game. So anytime you're in a situation, personally speaking for myself, anytime I'm in a situation where something's affecting me negatively, something's bringing me down instead of bringing me up, I need to get out of that situation and go explore different options.
I think I think at the highest level of play, I think both of them are very equal, communication and chemistry. Like at the highest level of play, they are very important for many different reasons. I would say at a not so perfect level, I would say communication is far more important than chemistry, because there will be teams that go to events that have never played with each other before, and they'll put it together and they'll be able to make a run just based off of their talents, based off of their skill and knowledge of the game, and then their communication skills. Communication skills are like, if you do not have great communication skills to be able to like efficiently communicate with your team, you're going to suffer. And I think you need that at every single level. Chemistry comes into play like at a certain level where you've already kind of mastered. And chemistry, it can help balance out like not the best communication, right? If you've been working together, like you still like know what's going on, and it can also elevate your communication too. But it doesn't come in until much later, where like the ecosystem is very weird. Like some teams will like go entirely off of chemistry, and the reason why they're good is because they've been playing together forever. They know exactly what their teammates want to do on the map, and they do it to perfection because they've done it 1,000 times. And then there's other teams that just they'll mercenary. The mercenary teams that just get built together, and then they go on a run because they just have the skill to do it, right? There's like 2 different weird approaches, and like
there's different approaches to it.
Yeah, at a base level, I think the communication is more important overall. But then, like when you get to the higher levels, like say like the top 16, top 8 areas, it comes right back to equal. Like it comes right back to evil, where you need to be on the same page all the fucking time without having to communicate every little thing. You need to have the reps with your team. You need to be able to like know your teammates and how they like to play situations and everything like that. So um despite there being two different ways that the community likes to go about it, I still think at the very top end they're very equivalent and very important together.
Definitely. What lessons has competitive Call of Duty taught you outside of gaming? And another question to add to that, what is one area each of you have improved over the past few seasons?
Like out of game or just in general?
In general.
It's a lesson that I've been taught. I think the only thing that comes to mind when you think of something that I've learned from Call of Duty that can translate into my in real life is that teamwork is needed in all aspects of your life. Whenever you're working at your job, or if you're working with your partner, I think teamwork is by far the what I've learned the most is working with others. Before I wasn't very good with working with others, and now I'm amazing at working with others in my life. Working with other coworkers, or working with my partner. Trying to discuss our feelings and stuff like that, because I've done so much of that with my online challenger teammates in the past. And something that I've improved on in the last couple of years from playing Call of Duty, I would definitely say that my ability to communicate under pressure and to keep my emotions in check while I'm playing has definitely been a big improvements over the years. Obviously, your gun skill, all of this, it just improves every single day. But when I first started off in my challengers here, I was very not cool, not calm and collected. I was very emotional, and my gameplay affected if I was in a good mood or if I was in a bad mood. And I think that over the last 2 years of my life, I've been able to keep that in check for the most part, where, like, I don't need to be in a good mood. I don't need to be in a bad mood. I know that it's a business and I have to come out here and perform no matter what mood I'm in, and to keep my emotions in check. I think I've done a great job of that over the last couple, at least for this season.
For me, a lesson that I've learned is to give everything your all. Everything that you do, you should put all of your effort into doing. You shouldn't half-ass anything. If there's something that you want, you should go and take it and do what you need to do to get that done. Through all the trial and tribulation, it will be worth it. That's what I've learned. I think that I've found a lot of motivation doing this. I've been doing it for so long, and I've had a lot of ups and downs, and even though the lows are pretty low, the highs get higher and higher, right? So if you put enough work and effort and really give your all and not cut corners, not half-ass things, then you'll see success. Yeah, it may take some time, but you will improve. You will get better. And that goes for every aspect. And I would say that has helped me out of game. And that has definitely improved many aspects of my life, like like meeting people, like keeping up with relationships and stuff like that, keeping up with like learning as well. Like learning really goes into that. Like um sometimes you learn because you like kind of need to, like you need to learn a certain thing, but like when you how do I phrase this? It's motivated me to, that lesson has motivated me to go out and like get into more business side of the situations that I'm being put in, like with organizations, with people, like just meeting new people and networking, like putting my all into just like even like branding and so many different things. It's my mind's a little blurred as we've been going on for quite some time, but it's just putting your all into everything. you that's what I would have to say. Like if you take anything from my experience, it's don't half-ass anything.
Give it your all.
Give it your all, no matter what it is.
I feel the same way. Everybody, if you got the passion for something, you're gonna go after that passion, right? So, looking ahead, we're getting close to the end of our podcast, so I got one last. It's more of a double question.
Mhm.
What goals are you both chasing moving forward, and what advice would you give to the younger players trying to break into challengers today?
So obviously, my main goal is to become a pro CDL player. But a few other goals that I've set out for myself is to do content with YouTube and Twitch and media and stuff like that. And it's something that if CDL doesn't work out for me, I want to have built a big enough community where I can fall back on doing content and doing community stuff with the Call of Duty community because I just fell so much in love with this community. My biggest advice for any player trying to get into challengers, there's two main things that you need to do. One, you need to download Twitter and you need to get on Twitter. All of Call of Duty's on Twitter. Start networking there. That's how you find.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, that's where you find your teammates. That's where you find scrims. Post, hey, I'm new. Post your rank. Post whatever it is. Like, hey, I want to join a challenger team, and just go from there. And the second thing, and I know there's so many challenger kids that is not doing it, but do content, live stream on Twitch, live stream on YouTube, and don't just do that. Post YouTube videos, post YouTube shorts, get your brand out there because at the end of the day, you need to develop your name, develop a brand behind you so that when people are looking at people, and I can speak for this all the time. When I go to pick up somebody and I get their Twitter, I click on their Twitter and I got to see, okay, is there any clips of them on their Twitter? Do they have a YouTube channel? Like I want to see more because how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know between you and this other kid who's better when this kid has all these clips of him on Twitter, all this YouTube and stuff that he's been doing, and then there's you who has a blank profile with nothing on it. So get yourself out there and start doing content now.
yeah, that's great advice. I think things that you need to do to start challengers, if you're underage, get into the U18 scene. It's getting a lot of traction. A lot of orgs are getting into it because they want to get the next best players. I'd say the Twitter thing so that you can find these organizations, find these like leagues that are running these events, and you need to put yourself out there. If you're younger enough, if you're young enough and put yourself out there, you'll find some way to get into U18. You'll find your way to play in these Discord leagues, for example. Like there's so many opportunities now that there weren't before that you need to take advantage of, and you need to be on top of doing that.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I would recommend. Another thing is you have to go to the lands. You have to go to lands. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't uh one of my biggest inspirations, Simp. He was so well known by the time he even turned 18 in a scene that didn't have a U18 system. And the way he did that was by going to lands. He went to like every local in his half of the country. He went to every single local and he would like win the majority of them. And that's where he got his name. He went to all of these locals. He streamed with what Void said. He streamed his games. He played a lot of wagers online. And he made a really big name for himself. And I've found locals and events are how I got to the position that I'm in with my start.
Oh,
And that's how he got to where he was. He got picked up at the ripe age of 18 years old in 0 days. He was on a team before he was even 18. Um, so you just got to learn from other people, and that's definitely something that I would say you should know going into. Go to the locals, go to the events. Like even if you're not old enough to go to the like majors, go to the majors and talk to people, network while you're there, and like just build your brand, like Void said. That's how you get noticed. That is how you get noticed above your placements and everything. and you want to start early. Also, if you're over 18, CCL. CCL College COD is a really great way to get your name out there as well.
Yeah.
If you want to go into school and you don't have the ability to like just solely focus on COD, right? And like say you need to go to school, that can also be a really great way. If U18 is not the play for you.
I think there's also NACE too. NACE. NACE.
NACE?
Yeah.
NACAL?
Yeah, it's just NACE. It's NACE.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of
programs too as well.
Do.
So
yeah. And then advice. Sorry, I did my advice. Goals. My goals moving forward. I have several. Right. I want to win a LAN. I won a local already. I want to win a major. I want to win a major, whether that is on the pro side or the challenger side. I imagine it's going to have to be on the challenger side first. Win a challengers LAN. I have steps. Like I want to win a challengers LAN. I want to go pro. I want to go to champs, qualify for champs. I want to win a championship, and then I want to win an EWC if that's still a thing by the time I get it. I want to do that, and then I don't even know what the future is after that. It's because I wouldn't stop. I don't have an end goal because I don't want there to be an end goal. I want to just keep succeeding at this and just work my way up, get better and better each time I go out to an event, each time I play the game. I motivate myself by just saying, just got to keep getting better and better.
This is so amazing.
One step at a time, however many steps that takes for me to get to all of those goals, and then along the way, I'll add more. That's how I think. And it just keeps motivating me. Because every time I succeed at a goal, I'll add another one. And just keep grinding and keep building.
100%.
So, yeah, that's where my goals stand. But there's a lot of things that you can do to get into challengers now that really benefit you to do. So take advantage of them.
Definitely. This episode right here is why I love doing the Spartan Council, because this is the real side of esports, not just the victories, but the journey behind them. The grind, the sacrifices, the lessons, the passion it takes to keep competing. Void, Frosty, thank you both for taking the time to come onto the podcast and share your experience. Really appreciate it. Any final remarks?
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It was an honor to come on and talk about my experience, my situation, and give some motivation and insight to potential players or just people watching and wanting to get a little bit of insight into what's going on at this level of competitive Call of Duty. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. More than welcome to invite me out to more of these. I love doing these little podcast things. I would love it to help out, and so appreciate it.
I'd love to have you guys back for another one. We could do another round of this. I'm sure I got plenty more questions to ask you guys. So I
had a great time. Great.
Yes, definitely. And to everyone listening, whether you're grinding ranked, competing in challengers, coaching, or trying to build your own path in esports, keep pushing. Because every great competitor starts somewhere. This has been the Spartan Council. Stay sharp, stay strategic, and we'll see you in the next one.